Morning, good morning, good morning. I thank you for all the questions. I appreciate your reviewing our videos. I hope you're having a great time in detoxing. Some of you a little rough up and down. I've got quite a lot of questions here from you guys, which I really love and appreciate, and getting to get a good feeling for each one of you, and appreciate it. So thank you again, and keep learning. I'd like to see all of you become great healers, and you probably already are, you know. Just refining and taking what other people have experienced. I've had 40 years of this, and so this website or this YouTube site is really meant as an educational site for me to assist you in any way, and your feedback assists me. There's no such thing as know-it-alls. We kind of got a guy here that's a know-it-all, Radio City audio guy. I hear you're intimidating Dan the man as well. You know, putting things like bogus doctors and things like that, guy, you know, it just shows your egotism and showing yourself here. And this is not this kind of website or this kind of YouTube site. I've had 40 years of this. I'm a biochemist. So when you make accusations like this, man, come on, you know, go get a colonic and go down to Haiti and learn some humidity for a while. This one point you bring up here about carbohydrates, this is a question that people have asked here about sugars. So I'm going to lead into this with the sugar thing so you understand really what it is. And just for your information, you can read all kinds of things on salmon and fish and things like this, but there's nothing healthy about dead tissue. Nothing healthy at all about dead tissue, in particular for a Homo sapien. So I've had 40 years at the study of anatomy and physiology of all the animals on the planet, the biochemistry of things, and your statement is just something you read and, you know, something you believe in, you know. But if you believe you got to have it, sure, you got to have it. It's your state of consciousness. A lot of people have to have meat because of their state of consciousness, and sure, go ahead. I don't really care. Now, let's talk about this sugar thing, guys, because a lot of you made this statement, and this is, again, a lot of more misinformation that's out there. And it's sad that it's out there like that, because the pharmacy here's got a lot of books from the early 1900s, 1800s, from medical doctors and naturopaths and homeopaths, and of course you've had the natural hygienic community, and they have very extensive knowledge through 100 years of raw foods and fasting and things like this. So there's a lot of extensive knowledge in this field, not just hearsay and not just crap you read from other people and things. A lot of extensive knowledge and on-the-job experiments and working with people. I mean, Dr. Jensen was a good personal friend of mine. He had seen over 300,000 people. I've seen close to probably up to towards 200,000 people. You really get a good understanding of how it is when you work with that many people and what you see all the time. But let's get into this sugar thing and fruits, because I've said this before through the videos, but never fear sugar. This to explain starch and carbohydrates. Let's look at the facts. The facts are that carbon is the essential need for fuel on this planet. We burn it as gasoline in our cars. This comes from oil, which is from carbohydrates. Carbohydrates is carbon chain constituents, or simply sugars. Sugars are carbon chains, and it's carbohydrates are the main need of man. And carbohydrates are fruits and vegetables. And when you look at sugars, we think of the three main constituents, although there's a whole bunch of them, but the three main constituents that's most commonly referred to is sugars, fats, and proteins. Now let's look at the facts again. Carbohydrates, simple sugars, all right? Fructose, simple sugar, fruit sugar. Glucose, simple sugar, vegetable sugar. These are simple sugars. They're not any, they're not much sweeter than another, except fruit sugar is more active. It does not require insulin as a carrier through a cell wall. So for type 1 diabetes, particularly where you're having insulin production problems, it's perfect. You can, as a type 1, go on all fruit, and your blood sugar, you can be on insulin pumps, I don't care what you're on. Some brittles work through this a little bit, but you can get your blood sugars 100, 95, 105 all day long just eating fruit. Eat a vegetable meal, and you'll see your blood sugar swing back up to 150, 175 or more. Because glucose is an inferior sugar, though a simple sugar, and then you have your third simple sugar, galactose, which is milk sugar. Well, we're supposed to be weaned after age 2, so forget that sugar. You're the two main sugars. Now, when you complex something, in other words, when you combine a lot of fructoses and glucoses together, we call that starch. Starch is complex carbohydrates. That is what your body cannot use. And especially if you have weak adrenal glands, your body cannot metabolize these levels of sugars, then you're going to invite the fungal family in because you're starting to fermentate these sugars, and then you turn, a lot of people, of course, convert to fat. And just like the grizzly bear. So, real important to understand that our human bodies cannot deal with complex chemistry. Therefore, you have digestion to break down into simple chemistry. And here's how it goes. Complex, simple sugars, carbohydrates, complex sugar, starch. We require carbohydrates as our main food source, but we can't use starch. Fats. We require fatty acids, but can't use fats. Okay, so we have to break fats down to fatty acids. And here's the big one for everybody. Protein. Protein, we require fatty amino acids, but not as for energy. Amino acids are used for carriers and some repairs on cells and things like this, but we cannot use protein. If you look at protein and the digestive process of protein, you break a protein down into the polypeptides and peptide stages, down into the amino acids before your body can use it. That's why we refer protein as second-hand protein, particularly animal protein. But when you complex the structure, it makes it exceedingly difficult for the human body to break down. The smarter animals, the healthier animals, the stronger animals don't eat complex foods. They eat simple foods. The nutrition is more readily available, the digestion's easier, you get more energy out of it. When you eat complex foods, it tends to acidify the food. When you look at all complex foods, if you look at starch, most starch is acidic, and yet carbohydrates are more base. Same thing with proteins, and the same thing with fats. So it's understanding how that goes. So for diabetes, guys, get on fruits and vegetables. If you swing a little with the fructose, it's only that fructose is going to go into a cell first before a glucose. It's essential to get that to a cell. I don't care if you fight blood sugar for a while. It's essential that you get ATP in the cell or you're going to lose those cells. And the importance of life is to maintain the health integrity of your cells of your body. That's key. So really get into the fruit level. You'll see that it controls blood sugar so much easier. Matter of fact, you diabetics, when you're watching this, you're going to see that when you eat protein, your blood sugar goes up. So you really get down to fruits and vegetables with diabetes. You've got to have those sugars. That's the key. That's why you see the loss of cells and you see gangrene and you see the whole 9 yards because, again, your kidneys are failing, your adrenals are failing, the pancreas. Now, herb-wise, always use a pancreatic formula, a good pancreatic formula. I like pancreatic formulas with diabetes in powdered form as opposed to liquids. I think it's more powerful on the pancreas, and you could use that. But remember, there's a lot of neurological type 1 diabetes. Now, we've went into that before, and I don't have the time in this question and answer because you guys asked me a lot of questions, and if I don't get them all today, I will certainly get them tomorrow for you. But the neurological type of diabetics either come from surgeries or come from weak adrenal glands. In any way, it means a weakened autonomic nervous system, and that's controlled by the adrenal glands. There's so much neurotoxins out there, guys, that a lot of people are losing the function of cells from these neurotoxic chemicals because it slams the nervous system that controls everything.